Did you ever wonder why the series is called Metal Slug? The title is actually the name of this tank here. For the longest time, I've had the Metal Slug Anthology collection both on the PSP and PS4. I've played through each game, but never really bothered to replay them enough to acknowledge everything about them. I always felt like these games were impossible to beat without having infinite continues. But after countless playthroughs of just the first game, I've come to realize that it actually is possible to beat the game with just a few continues on your back. And with enough practice, it's definitely possible to win without losing a single life. As a recap, Metal Slug was released in 1996 on arcades. It was developed by NASCAR Corporation and released as a Neo Geo classic. This action-adventure shoot-'em-up has you playing as Marco Rossi, player 1, and Tarma Roving, player 2. These guys are soldiers for the regular army. Yeah, that's what they go by. And they have to put an end to the rebel army led by General Morden, who looks a lot like Castro. The game throws countless enemies at you, mostly at once, and some even require you to shoot them numerous times in order to take them down. If you get hit once,
you die!
And you will lose whatever special weapon you were holding, if you were holding one. But most importantly, you'll lose all the hostages that you set free, so you really want to make sure you don't get hit once. And that is like the most difficult thing to accomplish here. The special weapons like the heavy machine gun or the shotgun, they have a limit, so you don't want to waste your ammo if there are no enemies around. Now, currently I'm not able to beat the entire game without losing a single character or using up a single continue, but I have brought it down to using only 3 continues, and that's an accomplishment for me. And you'll see how it was done, of course. I've managed to do a perfect run on missions 1, 2, 3, 4, but not 5 or 6 yet. Those are the hardest missions to get through. While mission 3 is also one of the toughest since you also have to deal with a sub-boss. But anyways, let's get to the challenge already. Here I'll be showing you guys how I managed to beat Metal Slug 1 with only 3 continues. Yeah, that's as low as I can go with having to use a continue. But if you've played this series, then you know that it's a major challenge trying to use like 20 continues. But after countless replays, I realized that there are 3 things you need to know. 3 things in order to complete the Metal Slug missions without getting hit. The first step is simple. All you need to do is go to the options menu and set that difficulty to easy. Yes, set it to easy. And you know why? Because the difficulty change only affects how many hits it takes to defeat the strong opponents. It doesn't change how many enemies appear on screen. Also, normal difficulty is what devs would use at the time to increase the chances of the arcade players getting hit, and that would result in having them spend more money to continue. So I'd say easy difficulty is the correct mode, where tough enemies are no longer complete bullet sponges, and your special weapons will actually feel special. Now, the second step you need to know in order to complete every mission with a perfect run is to get into that slug. That's right. Our answer all along is going to rely on how you handle the Metal Slug. And that is step number 3, understand the slug. The problem I always had with this tank was that I never really knew what it was capable of. It's a tank. It takes 3 hits to bring down. The gas tanks reduce 1 hit of damage. It fires rockets, but they're very limp. You can jump with the tank, and it includes a wonky minigun, which is what you'll most likely be using. This is all I would do every time I hopped in the tank. Just fire away, hope my shots land, and try to dodge as many as I could. But I wasn't aware of everything I could do. It can also duck. Yeah, you can crouch with this tank. And you're really gonna need to utilize it because some enemies fire straight shots, and those could be avoided by simply ducking. But also know that it has a slight delay. Same goes for when you want to jump. It's like a half-second delay, but that's all it takes to get punished. The next important thing to know about the Metal Slug is how to exit the tank correctly. You need to know how to do this right because there is a self-destruct mode that you can set off as a way of exiting. To exit the vehicle without it blowing up, just press down and jump. To make it self-destruct, you gotta press both jump and the action buttons at the same time. This is a huge problem because you can accidentally press both buttons when you're trying to dodge bullets left and right. So just practice a little when you find a safe area to fully understand how to exit right. Get a feel for the delay when ducking and jumping. Practice shooting with its minigun because it also takes some practice getting used to it. And also know that when you're crouching with the vehicle and you want to fire the cannon, you'll instead end up throwing your Molotovs, which isn't exactly a bad thing because you can throw more Molotovs compared to the firing rate of your cannon. The last and very important thing to note about when exiting the Slug is that both you and the vehicle have invincibility frames when your character is in his exiting animation. Do not forget this, as it is the best way to avoid getting hit. Now, let's begin with the demonstration. Mission 1. The beauty about this game is not only how gorgeous it looks, but they also throw in a handful of secrets. Sometimes hostages will be hidden. Same goes for items, weapons. It's fun discovering them. Also, one of the best things about arcade games is that they don't take too much time, well, too much of your time to complete. They're like roller coasters. They're a quick thrill. Sometimes games don't have to be that long in order to keep your attention. And with Metal Slug, you have tons of replay value here. You can literally beat the game in under half an hour. Under half an hour, man. I love how expressive these characters are too. Especially with the bad guy soldiers. Sometimes it's not only their reactions, but their actions. They got me by surprise many times. Anyways, for the first mission, there's not much of a strategy needed. You can breeze through all the oncoming enemies, but be aware of the divers chucking missiles at you. But you won't likely have to worry about them because you'll have a heavy machine gun, and by this point, you'll be making it rain like Rambo did on his Part 2 shenanigans. You'll also get the Metal Slug close to the start, and here's where I recommend you to practice using it and understanding everything about it. The boss for this stage is quite easy. It shoots 3 slow-ass projectiles at an upward curved angle, but they're very easy to avoid. Same goes for when it decides to shoot from that large cannon. Just duck before it shoots, it'll warn you. Same goes for when it's about to shoot below. Just jump as soon as it fires below, shoot the shit out of it, and that's it. Mission 2 has a slow start. You can shoot the flags above for extra points. Same goes for that clock. Here I recommend you crawl underneath the electric boogaloos, as it is much safer than to attempt a successful jump. I just find it really difficult to maneuver the character in midair. This is way safer. Safer. Over here you can reach this item for extra points. You can skip through it though. There are enemy boats that you'll be taking on one by one. You'll have a rocket launcher at this point. Just aim low and sink their hopes and dreams. You could pick up a special weapon before the boat sinks. I recommend only grabbing the shotgun from the 4th sinking boat. This stage looks and feels like it references Rambo First Blood Part 2, doesn't it? By the way, whenever you see an enemy tank, throw Molotovs at it. Do not waste time firing bullets because it's hard to anticipate when they're about to fire, and they usually come out with a group of soldiers, so don't take your chances, just throw Molotovs.
Thank you.
I guess this one's supposed to be like a sub-boss, but you can instantly take it down as soon as you get that heavy machine gun. Just aim high, shoot it down immediately. I mean, as you can see, the second shot that it fires doesn't even reach you by the time it blows up. But as soon as you destroy that sub-boss, there's going to be 2 soldiers to the far right that will likely hit you with their explosives. So I recommend that you immediately start chucking your Molotovs as you're running forward so that they don't get a chance of hitting you. Also, their explosives can be destroyed, but Molotovs will guarantee to destroy them before they hit you, so don't run forward while shooting with a handgun because it's too risky. After this, you get into that Slug. Sucks when you made it this far without getting hit, and then those 2 soldiers hit you with a grenade. Oh man, then you realize that the Metal Slug was right behind them. That's why I'm making sure to warn you about this. Here's the next easy part. Now that you've gotten well acquainted with the Metal Slug, you'll be dominating this area for sure and moving on to the boss fight. So we get to face off against General Morden early on. This boss fight is not really a problem. Again, once you've gotten the feel of the Slug, it's not so hard dodging these shots. You can destroy them before they hit you as well. One tip that helps me is to fire from the right side of the screen. Most of the time, it really does help to dodge most attacks, especially when they drop the bouncy bombs. And General Morden can't really hit you most of the time with his rocket launcher from that spot. So you could go nuts in this spot, or just try to use this as a way to better your dodging skills if you want. On to mission 3. The third stage is one that I always ended up getting hit with. I would always lose my main streak, mainly because of McNeil. Well, Alan O'Neill, the man that refuses to die. He appears halfway through this mission, but on your way there, you must go uphill. Follow the arrows, use the heavy machine gun wisely, so don't waste it on the first enemy you see. Just the next ones, because they won't let you get close enough to shoot. Dodging this chopper is as easy as it looks. You just gotta worry about landing on the next platforms on your way to the top. Shoot the enemies from this spot over here because they'll be dropping bombs, which again are impossible for my ass to dodge, so I recommend shoot them before they get you. Now we get to the sub-boss, Alan O'Neill. One thing you can't do in this game is drop to the platform below you, like in Contra where you hold down and press jump. This would have really helped out in this situation because for starters, he's fast as fuck. I mean, he sprints from opposite ends of the screen, like he uses his heavy machine gun and throws Molotovs like us. And don't expect to beat him in a knife fight either because he's prepared for that as well.
Rocket launcher.
Up ahead, you'll get a rocket launcher. Use it on the tank and the enemy above. Rain hell on the enemies inside the building, but be careful because up ahead you'll be dealing with a few tanks. And you should have plenty of Molotovs by this point, so only use those to get rid of those tanks easily because this is where I've been hit many times and you're about to reach the Metal Slug as well, which you do not want to get hit before reaching it. Once you hop in the Slug, you'll have to deal with about 6 tanks and some soldiers. 3 rockets or 2 from your cannon will take out a tank, so deal with them, 1 tank at a time so they don't gang up on you. And if you're about to get hit and don't have time to dodge, remember, exit the Slug for those invincibility frames. Jump right in and finish the job right afterwards. After this, you'll be facing off against the final boss of the stage, and this one is fairly easy. It fires mines that can be destroyed before and after they hit the ground. The same weapon that fires those mines will switch to a minigun, but it fires in an easy, avoidable pattern. The main weapon it'll fire is that big-ass cannon in the center. But you get a good warning before it fires, so just move to the far left and right. And mostly when you're moving to the left side, start shooting the cannon since it drops down. Do that repeatedly and the mission is yours. Alright, mission 4. Right at the start of the mission, if you stand still and just fire repeatedly, you'll have respawning soldiers to the right, but they won't be a problem as long as you keep firing. Stay here for like half a minute and it'll trigger these enemy pilots to fly by, dropping 3 hostages and missiles. So you better set those hostages free and move forward because those guys will just keep respawning over and over and over. But don't be trigger happy though, because you can actually get the metal slug right here at the start of the mission. But it's behind this wall, this destructible wall. Just make sure not to blow up that explosive barrel below it. Otherwise, you will make it impossible to reach. But don't worry if you messed up, because there is another metal slug up ahead. You just have to deal with a lot of annoying enemies before reaching it. Most enemies from this point will be leaping towards you for a knife kill, but just keep moving forward while throwing Molotovs if you're on ground, and shooting to get rid of everyone in front of you, which includes the destructible wall. There are mostly tanks and barricaded shooters up ahead. Just fire cannons at the tanks and barricades. If anything, mission 4 is an easy stage, mainly if you're holding on to the slug, because again, as soon as you know how to control it well and everything, you should be able to get through this part like nothing. There are so many tanks and soldiers up ahead, but again, it's so easy once you get control of that slug. So don't worry about anything up ahead. Just keep dodging, shoot up ahead, and you're good to go.
Thank you.
The boss for this mission is actually a duo of 2 large armored tanks, but with the slug, they are no match at all. Just back up against the tank from your left, crouch while firing, and literally no shots from both tanks will hit you. After the first tank is destroyed, you fire from beneath the above tank, and that's it. That one, I'm telling you, this is probably the easiest mission. If anything, probably slightly more easier than the first one, because with the first one you do have to jump around, whereas with this boss it's too damn easy. You only crouch down, shoot back, then shoot above, that's it. Mission 5. Mission 5 has a lot of neat backgrounds to look at. These buildings are destructible, and as you destroy them little by little, you can see people inside that are affected by the damage taking place. Some really make you wonder if you are the good guy in this situation. The start of this mission is dangerous though. Like I recommend you take down the soldiers with the rockets first. They've gotten me one too many times, so I always start things off by aiming directly at those guys first. The metal slug is close by, but before reaching it, there's this tank over here. It fires these droppy balls that will land on you if you don't move out of the way. Chuck a few Molotovs at it quickly, then get out. Well, back up. I say this because normally all the tanks fire a straight shot, so this one tricks you into thinking that all you gotta do is duck while throwing Molotovs, but that's how it gets you. Man, here we got another mesmerizing stage. I like how we're driving down the streets, and that pixel art's so fucking gorgeous. Seriously, the devs that made this is art. I love looking at every little detail. There's character to everything. Even the buildings give you that background storytelling. Anyways, this is leading to a really difficult part. You get a flock of flyboys dropping missiles from both sides of the screen. Exiting the slug is one way to prevent getting hit, but they'll keep coming at you until you reach a certain part of that stage. So put your slug dodging skills to the test, or try to destroy those missiles before they hit you, because that is an option as well. This, along with Mission 6, are the two stages that so far I haven't been able to complete without getting hit once. There's a destructible wall up ahead, and even if you got the slug, there's a heavily armored chopper firing at you from above, while soldiers are trying to get in your vehicle, while there's a guy shooting rockets at you above the wall. Then there's another wall up ahead that repeats the process all over again. You're gonna have to have a bunch of soldiers leaping on your vehicle for sure, but like, don't worry about them. Just, you can shake them off later. Just I recommend that you concentrate on the chopper first, then destroying the wall, or vice versa. You can concentrate on the wall first, but that chopper, I'm telling you, it gets low enough to make it hard to dodge those oncoming rockets or missiles that it drops on you. You'll have soldiers on motorcycles on the platform above you and on the ground, but just go forward and destroy the bikers that are about to slam into you. Again, in this part, you need to move forward, otherwise they won't stop coming. And right after this, you'll be facing off against the boss of the stage. Hopefully you held on to the slug, because you're gonna need it. You can dodge the oncoming projectiles, but it's way easier if you just exit the vehicle before it hits you. With the infinite ammo of this slugger, you won't have to worry about dealing enough damage like you normally would if you had to deal with this boss using the standard handgun. The flamethrower from below has a short reach. The tank on top of that death machine only fires at you if you get behind it, so don't worry about it. Destroy the flamethrower weapon from below and it'll release a few hostages. They'll give you a heavy machine gun and more Molotovs, so if you don't have the slug at this point, you can pick those up and get underneath this boss and throw all the Molotovs at it. This should end the machine for sure. Mission 6. The 6th mission is the final stage of the game, and oh boy do they go all out with this one. I love the stage, like the way it begins, because you have these 3 metal slugs driving by, and this tells me that I'm not alone. It's like the old school action flicks, like American Ninja 1 and 2, where the 2 main characters deal with the bad guys on their own, you know, player 1 and player 2. But at the end, they finally have an army fighting by their side, and it is awesome. Anyways, this little jungle portion includes a tank and hordes of soldiers that'll appear to your left side. Throw Molotovs at the tank immediately, and then show those soldiers what slashing prices really looks like. Up ahead is one dangerous ass mosh pit. You're gonna have tanks left and right, soldiers left and right, and above or below you, depending on whether you choose to go up the platform or down. I recommend you get rid of the soldiers with the rocket launchers first and bomb the tanks. Rinse and repeat this process for a good while. Here's a fun challenge. Try to use this gun turret to give turrets to all the oncoming enemies that are about to drop in. Luckily, when exiting the Metal Slug, you'll have invincibility frames when letting go of this weapon. You let go the same way you exit the tank. Just know that this part gets pretty hectic. They're going to be raining bullets on you for like a minute straight, which is too long. The platform you're about to reach has an explosive barrel that you do not want to shoot yet. You need to reach the Metal Slug from above the platform, so try to dodge any oncoming attacks because it's too risky to fire back. Just get in the slug and move back towards the boat because you're going to have to blow up the platform it was on. And this could result in destructive results. After this, more flyboys will be dropping missiles at you, but they go with a zigzag pattern, so jump, duck, goose. More of them will appear, but this time you want to take them down, or at least the missile before they hit you. You could do that as well. It's a little tough since it ain't easy firing with the Slug's minigun, and this part I do tend to get hit. Man, this chopper, this one always gets me. Even when I know it's coming, it levitates slightly above you, so when it drops bombs, you don't really have enough time to dodge them. I mean, you do, but sometimes it's too close. I say you exit the slug once you can't move forward and try taking down the chopper as you move left. After this, you'll have some leaping soldiers, but I find it interesting how this is the part when you finally reach the final boss. And remember those 3 metal slugs from the start of the mission? All 3 of them managed to get this far, but they didn't make it past this area. Shows you how the final boss is so tough enough to take down 3 metal slugs. Or at least one of them, since you can see that it's far behind in the background as you fight the boss. This boss fight is not too bad. You can avoid getting hit by destroying every rocket, and you have a little platform to help you dodge rockets as well. The only real problem is if you don't have the slug at this point, like me, it's gonna take a while to bring him down because you have to use the handgun most of the time, and he is bullet spongy. It's funny how you can take a few swipes at him with your comment knife if you hit him as soon as he falls out. It's the most we can do since he lives. But there you have it. That's the end of the game. If you got lucky like my ass with this run, then you too will be able to beat the game with only 3 continues or less. The end credits are very creative and amusing. I'm not sure if I'm supposed to feel bad for the rebel soldiers though, because they're the bad guys, right? Right? That's it for the video. Special thanks to my patrons. I hope you all enjoyed it. And if you want to see some more weekly content, then hop over to my Patreon where I post exclusive content. Exclusive vids, updates on current projects, and the latest artwork based on the comics I've been working on. You can also show your support by getting a hold of the channel merch. Yeah. I also opened up a new Twitter account to post artwork and memes. So there's that. Anyways, I'll see you all next time. And remember to have an awesome day.